them to share the wealth in that regard.
Boston was pushed down. 7 to shoot. Boston methodical. Hunter take. After they had fallen behind by 6 in the quarter, and Sydney Colson, as Aliyah Boston has an extended conversation with the officials, and then is gonna get over to Angel Gray. Angel?
The Indiana Fever fought through injuries, foul trouble, and relentless defensive pressure. But in the final seconds, the game slipped away under a cloud of controversy. This was not just another regular season loss. It was a showcase of resilience, leadership, and a fiery backlash against what players called inconsistent and damaging officiating. Aliyah Boston, usually calm and measured, left the court visibly furious after a late whistle erased Indiana's comeback hopes. Was this simply a tough break, or was the game tilted? Tonight, we break down every moment, from tactical shifts forced by injuries, to the clutch plays that nearly stole the win, to the questionable calls that may have sealed their fate. Stay tuned. This is one you have to see to believe.
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 and a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul outward for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
Indiana entered this matchup already hobbled. Without Caitlin Clark, and with both Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald lost to season-ending injuries just days earlier, the Fever's point guard depth was gone. In a single night, they lost 3 floor generals, leaving head coach Stephanie White scrambling to rewire the entire offense. To make matters worse, Dallas came in with a clear plan: pressure the ball at every opportunity and force turnovers. By halftime, that strategy was working. The Fever had already racked up double-digit giveaways. But this was also a team refusing to fold. Kelsey Mitchell, shifted out of her natural scoring role into lead ball handler, carried the offense. Every possession was a grind, but Indiana stayed close, and that's where the tension began to build.
What's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're 2 really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal, and we've got to roll with it. And we've got players in that locker room who believe in one another. Players in that locker room who are as competitive as all get out. We've got versatility, and it's going to have to be on full display. So I think now it's about playing to honor them, right, and playing for them.
Kelsey Mitchell's 24-point performance might look like a typical star night on paper, but the reality was far more grueling. Without a true point guard beside her, Mitchell had to bring the ball up against double teams, initiate the offense, and still find her shot. Dallas sent traps early, forcing her into high-energy possessions that left little room for rest. Every bucket came with a cost. Yet in the fourth quarter, with Indiana trailing by double digits, Mitchell hit a deep 3, motioned for the defense to lock in, and spearheaded a run that brought the Fever within a single point. It was a masterclass in leadership under pressure, but it also set the stage for the heartbreak that followed.
It's never fun to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we got a pretty good look out of it, but again, I think we shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. The 17 turnovers got us there.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have even been there. But I thought Kelsey got a look at it. It's unfortunate, but yeah, on to the next.
While Mitchell shouldered the heaviest load, this comeback was built by the entire roster. Sophie Cunningham brought her trademark fire, scoring 14 points, diving for loose balls, and jawing at officials after hard contact. Chloe Bibby delivered perhaps the quietest yet most critical 12 minutes of the night, hitting 3 three-pointers, including one that stopped a Dallas run cold. Natasha Howard dominated the paint with a 12-point, 12-rebound double-double, swatting away 3 shots. And Aliyah Boston battled constant physicality to put up 14 points inside. This was the definition of collective fight, the kind that turns a deficit into a winnable game. But as we'll see, that fight would meet an obstacle no defensive scheme could prepare for.
Just excited. I know that Indiana is a great organization, and just to be a part of it and just to be here with the great players that I'm going to be playing with, this is a great opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
What's the most important thing for you in a situation like this, to just get acclimated, just to kind of get your feet under you and feel your way around the new spot here?
I mean, it's not my first time just coming to a new team and coming in and just being me. The biggest thing is just doing what I do best. Playing defense, playing hard, doing whatever the team needs. Obviously, I know they've been down with the injuries. Prayers up for Sid and Ari. Love them both. But like I said, I'm excited to be here, and I'm not gonna do too much. But whatever coach tells me to do is what I'm gonna do and have fun and enjoy my teammates.
In the fourth quarter, Indiana outscored Dallas 25-4. Yes, 25-4. The Fever swarmed defensively, contested every shot, and turned stops into transition opportunities. The crowd roared with every basket, sensing something special. With just under 12 seconds left, down by 1, Indiana had the ball and momentum. This was the moment to seize a statement win despite missing their entire point guard rotation. But instead of a timeout to set up a final play, the Fever pushed the ball in transition. Mitchell's contested jumper missed, and Dallas secured the rebound. Stephanie White stopped the clock with 1.7 seconds remaining, far too late for anything meaningful. Post-game, White admitted she should have called timeout earlier. That hesitation changed everything.
Obviously can play make, as she showed in the last game. It's not like her most natural way of playing, I would say. Do you have to tell her to focus on that? Does she just kind of know that as the primary ball handler in these games, she'll do it? How does that kind of process work when it's not a true point guard at the one?
Yeah, I mean, I want her to just do what she's been doing. You know, she's been excellent all year long. She's been efficient all year long. Her decision making has been on point all year long.
Clock management wasn't the only storyline. In the fourth quarter, Aliyah Boston battled for position under the rim against Dallas center Tiara McCowan. On replay, McCowan clearly clamped Boston's arm, a textbook defensive foul. Instead, the whistle went against Boston. Indiana challenged, but the ruling stood. Broadcaster Rebecca Lobo, watching the same footage fans saw at home, openly questioned how it wasn't overturned. Not only did the Fever lose the call, they also lost their final challenge and a critical timeout. In a one-possession game, that's more than just a bad break. It's a momentum swing that changes how you close. For Boston, who prides herself on disciplined play, the frustration was visible.
Every single playoff game will be on our networks. As Mitchell finally gets a look, her first points of the second half. Curl it in. Doesn't get the whistle. Indiana with numbers the other way. Mitchell in the corner. Cutting. Big game from Aisha Hines-Allen off the bench. Mitchell sprints into the lane, finds Cunningham. She got it. On a three, and it's a single-digit deficit.
Controversy struck again when Sophie Cunningham was called for a flagrant foul on Paige Buchers after review. The ruling cited landing space contact, but just earlier, Buchers herself had a similar foul upgraded for the same reason. Later in the quarter, Mitchell absorbed nearly identical contact on a jumper, with no whistle at all. To Indiana, this wasn't about one call, it was about consistency. When the same action produces 3 different officiating outcomes in a single game, it erodes trust. And in a tight contest where every possession counts, inconsistent enforcement can become the difference between winning and losing.
Mitchell trying to create with 5 to shoot. Mitchell through the lane. Able to scoop it in. And it's a 1 game.
That's right, but you know she loves to go left. How many defenders try to come over and help about 3 and still able to scoop it up and in?
Mitchell with 24 points.
The impact of those calls went beyond the scoreboard. Dallas used the free throws from the Boston foul to maintain their lead, and the flagrant on Cunningham gave them extra possessions. Meanwhile, Indiana's inability to stop the clock after losing their timeout meant fewer chances to set plays. It was a perfect storm: tactical limitations, emotional frustration, and clock pressure. Yet, the Fever still had chances to steal it late, thanks to their defensive grit. This resilience, in the face of mounting obstacles, is what made the final sequence so crushing for players and fans alike. Post-game, Aliyah Boston didn't hold back. In a short but pointed response, she called the calls confusing and disappointing, adding that you fight too hard to have it taken away like that. For a player known for measured composure, those words carried weight. They reflected not just her personal frustration, but the collective mood of the locker room. Coach White echoed the sentiment, saying, "We shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. referencing the turnovers that gave Dallas 27 points. Yet even she acknowledged the officiating swings had a tangible impact. The message was clear: Indiana wasn't blaming refs for everything, but they weren't ignoring it either. Inside the Fever locker room, the emotions were raw. Players spoke about pride in the fight, but also about the frustration of letting a winnable game slip away. Mitchell, still catching her breath, said, "We got a good look at the end. It just didn't fall." Cunningham apologized for one heated exchange with officials, but stood by her point. And Boston? She sat quietly at her locker before addressing reporters, clearly still processing the loss. For a young team battling adversity all season, this felt like more than just a mark in the loss column. It was a test of how they would respond when effort wasn't enough to overcome external factors. Slow-motion replay shows the exact moment the game's momentum shifted. A crucial offensive rebound by Boston called back for an alleged over-the-back foul. Analysts froze the footage. Boston's hands were nowhere near the defender's back. The crowd erupted in disbelief, and Boston's visible frustration told the story. On the Fever bench, head coach Stephanie White argued furiously with the officials, demanding an explanation that never came. This wasn't just a bad call, it was a momentum killer. Dallas used the free possession to score, widening the gap. Fans online began compiling clips, labeling it the turning point rig. The question hung heavy: was this incompetence, or something much darker within the WNBA's officiating culture? Within hours, social media detectives were in full force. Twitter threads compared this game to at least 3 other Fever matchups this season, where questionable calls swung the outcome late in the fourth quarter. Patterns emerged: the same officiating crew, the same types of phantom fouls, and almost always against the Fever's star players. One viral post read, "If this isn't targeting, I don't know what is." Boston, known for her composure, seemed unusually tense during post-game interviews, carefully choosing her words. "We just want a fair game," she said. The underlying frustration was clear. Fans weren't just angry about one game. They were beginning to suspect an orchestrated effort to hold Indiana back from playoff contention. Within hours, social media detectives were in full force. Twitter threads compared this game to at least 3 other Fever matchups this season, where questionable calls swung the outcome late in the fourth quarter. Patterns emerged: the same officiating crew, the same types of phantom fouls, and almost always against the Fever's star players. One viral post read, "If this isn't targeting, I don't know what is." Boston, known for her composure, seemed unusually tense during post-game interviews, carefully choosing her words. "We just want a fair game," she said. The underlying frustration was clear. Fans weren't just angry about one game. They were beginning to suspect an orchestrated effort to hold Indiana back from playoff contention. By the next morning, fans expected at least a statement from the WNBA regarding the officiating. But nothing came. No acknowledgement, no review announcement, no accountability. The silence felt deafening. Sports media began to question why the league, which prides itself on integrity, was ignoring such an obvious controversy. On talk shows, analysts debated whether the WNBA was protecting certain marketable teams at the expense of rising franchises like Indiana. Former players weighed in, hinting that favoritism in officiating wasn't new. It was just more visible now thanks to social media. For Fever fans, this wasn't just disappointing. It was confirmation that the league might be turning a blind eye to injustice. 2 days later, Boston finally broke her silence on Instagram. In a black and white post, she wrote only 6 words: "We deserve better. Enough is enough." The comment section exploded. Teammates, rival players, and even NBA stars showed support. Fans flooded the WNBA's official accounts demanding answers, some calling for an independent review of officiating practices. Boston's words carried weight, not because they were loud, but because they were measured, the kind that leaves no room for misinterpretation. The message was clear: this fight wasn't just about a single game, it was about the credibility of the league itself. And if the WNBA didn't address it soon, the backlash could grow into something they couldn't control.